So, guys, I'm going to run you through exactly how I make seven figures every single year selling coaching and consulting online and just posting content. And it's actually very simple, right? It's no different to something like making a lasagna, right? Once you know how to make an elite level lasagna, it's really fucking easy. You just go and do it every single day and it takes you 20 minutes, right? But it's also really easy to fuck up, right? If you were making a lasagna for your partner tonight for date night and you wanted to impress her, you wanted to provide for her, you would go and follow a recipe. Now, guys, your business is the lasagna. You need to follow a blueprint. There's layers of complexity that become very simple once you know what to do in what order, but we've got to make sure it's mastered so we can actually pull it off. And then you can be that guy with that business that is an asset to everybody around him. So everything with these types of businesses, guys, it starts with identity. It starts with you. So what you need to think about at the very beginning is effectively, who are you? Who are you at your most authentic self? And what transformation have you gone through? And what skills and passions do you have? So transformation, skills, value. And then down here, I'm going to put passion and obsession. That's also really important. If you want to go on and you want to become that seven-figure a year guy in this space, you need to be passionate. You need to be obsessed. In any industry, the guys who just want a quick bit of money to go pay for a holiday, they stay broke. They chase shiny objects. They go this way, they swap. The guys who are obsessed, they want mastery. I'd imagine right now, if you're watching this video, you want to achieve mastery. You want to become something one of one. It has to be built around your identity and it has to be built around everything you're extremely obsessed with, because only then will you go and fulfill that. So first of all, you're going to look at who you are, what transformation or transformations have you gone through, and that will depend on the next step, which is effectively your offers. Now, if you've gone through one transformation, you would just have your offer based around that. So for example, mine used to be elite physique. Okay, I used to do photo shoot preps. I used to get shredded. I used to live at like 6% body fat. I used to be a mad shredded fuck. And that's all I used to help people with. Now, over the years, I've gone on and I've understood that I need to elevate myself, my mindset, my standards to a psychopathically high level to run and operate the business I do today. So I then went on and made not just an elite physique, but a high performance, actually helping entrepreneurs be the man inside the business that is required alongside skills and knowledge. So I've got my elite entrepreneurial athlete, where it's like training, nutrition, optimization, supplements, daily process, routine, paradigm, subconscious mind, just everything required to actually be the individual inside the business. That's another transformation I had to go through to get to where I am today. Every offer you have is just this is where you were before, this is where you are now. Now, I also have another offer these days. When I went on and built my initial offers, when I built these two to seven figures, I then went and launched what are now my brand programs, helping guys effectively start, build, scale their brands and businesses to multi-six, seven figures and beyond. Okay. Now you'll be watching this right now and you're like, okay, I know exactly what my value is. I know what my obsession is. Now for me, I'm obsessed with all these three. I didn't actually, like right now, I still run all of these three offers to this day because I'm still crazy, passionate, and obsessed with all of them. You know, you see sometimes people they just transition and they just run just the high performance or just the brand. I run all of them and I almost see them like a ladder. And this is something I'm going to talk about later, is that I see them as a progression ladder. It's like level one, just work on the physique, right? Just gain that clarity, gain that purpose, gain that discipline. High performance is the second thing. And then once you're undeniable, you go on and you build that brand, okay, in coaching, consultant, selling your value online, like most of you guys right now will already be doing or looking to start. And they all progress on. So they're actually all very aligned. And of course, they're aligned because that's my actual journey, my story as well. So you got to think about, what are your offers? What's your transformation? Within your offers, another thing I'm going to add is you need a unique mechanism. And a unique mechanism is just a fancy term, effectively, for how did you get that transformation? Okay. So if you went from skinny fat, 16% body fat, not much muscle mass if you're in the fitness space, and then you went on and now you wake up high frequency, super confident, you're 8% body fat, you've got a fucking 10 out of 10 chick, right? You're really clear on your goals, you're making a bit more money, you've isolated from certain groups of people, you're just operating in a different dimension. What was everything you did? Maybe you worked on certain things mentally. Maybe you had certain habits. Maybe you did certain daily processes. Maybe you hit your macros. Maybe you trained a specific way. Did you go hypertrophy training? Did you do hybrid training? Did you do a bit of both? Okay. What was your mechanism? And you want to build that up and package that up. Okay. Now, after offers, once you've got that done, because once this is done, guys, it's done. So, like for me, my identity, my offers, they're built. And once they're built, and it takes a couple of hours to do it, if I decide I want to make a new offer, it takes me a couple of hours maximum, and I go run it. So once you've just gone boom, and you've extracted the correct parts of your identity that are going to be very magnetic effectively when it comes to marketing, you've built your offers out, not just what they are, but how they work and the pricing, and you've done all of that correctly, you can just push that to the side and you've just got that waiting, and it's an asset for you on the basis of these next parts, these next 5 parts you just master. Okay. Now, this part here is traffic. And this is really easy. Traffic just means you've got an audience. Okay. And I'm very, very focused on buyer traffic. Okay. We want buyer traffic. We ideally want, well, we definitely want only people that are for your offers. So let's say you have one offer. You need to think about, okay, who is that ICP? If you've got one offer, you've got one ICP. A little bit more complex for me, guys, but remember, I've already built a 7-figure brand. I can add layers of complexity on. Until that point, you want to keep it really simple. One offer, one core offer. Now, you may have different tiers within that. I'll talk about that later in one of the other steps. But effectively, you're going to have one core offer, one core transformation, and maybe just different tiers on how they can work with you. And like I said, this is another step I'm going to talk about shortly. So you're going to have one offer and one ICP. That's all you should run until you're at least 7 figures a year. Down here then, all you now need, by ICP, I mean your one ideal client profile. So like, who is that offer for? Like, you're speaking at one person. So when you're making your content isn't just generic. Your content is specifically to speak at the individual who would buy your offer under the right circumstances to go through that transformation that your offer provides, because they want a desire up here, and you can help them from exactly where they are, their current position, their current problems. You can take them up this journey to the outcome that's going to allow them to fulfill on their own derivative desires with your unique mechanism. So we now need to get those people. We need to get only those people. It's not about 1 million views. It's not about 100K views. It's not about 5K views or 200 views. It's just about, we want people in front of you that are aligned with your offer, and under the right circumstances, they would then be able to buy your offer to get to your value. Because what's the point in you having this value in here right now if no one's buying it? This is why you got to master what I'm showing you today. You've got to become a master of marketing and sales. And a big element of that, beyond your identity and offers, is traffic. Okay, now the 2 main platforms you're going to use are going to be Instagram and YouTube. Okay, now to keep this really simple, Instagram is mainly going to be, you're the outcome, and then it's going to be a little bit of problem solution content. When you're doing your value content, it's just going to be problem solution. You're speaking to people who are already problem solution aware. YouTube, you can take people from unaware to problem aware to solution aware to product aware to most aware to a client. Okay? This is really important. Both of the platforms have a purpose. You should be creating with intention on both platforms for a specific purpose. Every piece of content has a reason. You don't just go out and post content just because you need to tick a box on your blueprint. I need to post today to try and get a client. Every type of post you do should have an element of psychological transformation in your audience that helps them get closer to your value and help them make the best decision for themselves to move forward and take action, and also get the actual blueprint from you, which is inside you, which is inside your offer. Okay. That's what you're going to be doing. Instagram, like I said, it's more about positioning. It's more about problem solution. You're speaking directly at your ICP who is already problem solution aware. YouTube, you can do the problem solution aware, like the actual mechanism stuff, and a little bit more product awareness and selling. But you can also work on that unaware market. Okay. That's not something you would do and waste time on Instagram, though. Okay. So YouTube is, you can go into more depth. You've got 30-minute videos, you've got an hour videos, you've got 15-minute videos, you've got 5-minute videos. On Instagram, we're a little bit more to the point and focused on positioning. The only place you would sell on Instagram is in the stories using a certain type of pitch mechanism. Okay, so once we've effectively created specific content to meet our ICP, we can create content in a very specific way to basically go straight to our ICP, straight to the buyer traffic. This is how, for example, I have guys come, they just jump into this blueprint, run the content exactly how I tell them to. They join brand with like no following, brand new to coaching, and they'll come out and make 2-3K in the first week. I've had guys come and make 14-15,000 in the first 2-3 weeks. Okay, I've had guys go from 7 to 70K in 3 months, existing business owners. We are not just looking for views. We are looking at being a sniper rifle, right? We're precisionists when we're trying to make 7 figures, when we're trying to make even 6 figures at the start. It's not about more. It's about intention. It's about consciousness inside the content. So all we're doing is we create traffic in a very specific way. We create a very specific type in this flywheel effect of content on Instagram and YouTube. It might take you 15 minutes to an hour a day. You know, if you're full-time, I would say 1 to 2 hours a day, even you can work on this once you've mastered potency, and you're going to be waking up and you're going to be making thousands a day. If you don't make thousands of pounds every day from your content, something in your content is broken, right? We have to fix that. We have to fix the intention. Volume won't fix it. We only add volume, and I'll talk about this shortly. We only add volume once potency is there. You have to be able to post once a day on social media and make thousands of pounds every day in new cash collected in order for it to be potent enough. Okay. Only then do we scale and increase volume. Okay, let me grab a new slide here. Once we've created that traffic and we've got the right people in front of us, so when people start following you on Instagram, when people start watching your YouTube videos around this offer that you're creating it for, around this ICP, then this guy is the exact guy I need to move on to the next step. So traffic then comes into basically a mechanism where we can take them through the next step. And I'm just going to call this lead flow, okay? Now, lead flow is really simple. It's effectively how these people come to you. All of my 7-figure coaching and consulting offers have been inbound. None of them have been outbound. Every single person has come into me, has come into my CRM or has messaged me, and then we started working because my traffic has been created in a very specific way, which can differentiate and position me and align me with just my perfect audience. Some people it won't be a fit for, and they will just naturally take themselves off. But I'll have a lot of people who are watching my content and are like, this is the guy for me to get in great shape. This is the guy to help me build and scale my brand and make something one of one and do it out of authenticity without being a cringe. All of this has been done for me inbound with 0 sales calls. How do we do that? Traffic and mastering how we make traffic is huge, right? Just 2 guys can make content for 20 minutes a day. One can make 5K a day. One can make nothing. So how we make traffic is huge. Then we have lead flow. When we've got these people watching our content, they're then going to go, even in this, right? If you go to my link below in the description or in the comment, you're going to be like, okay, there's a link. That is lead flow. That's where I have I've had hundreds in a day, but tens of people every single day come through that link and they watch what is called a VSL. Okay. And effectively, then from there, they can go through, they can choose what option's best, they can apply to work with me, and then they can speak with me directly if I find they're a fit. If they qualify to work with me, they then come through the sales process. I'm going to touch on that in a second. So we have a lead flow. Effectively, we have a landing page. If you're just starting out, guys, from brand new, you don't need to obsess too much on a VSL until you start making your first few $1,000s, which you should be doing within your first week. Once you've made your first few $1,000s, you should then be building a VSL. Now, there are 17 types of VSLs. Okay. Now, for example, we have VSLs like origin story VSLs. We have mechanism VSLs. We have splitter VSLs. We have problem solution VSLs. There is infinite, there's a paradox VSL. There are so many types of VSLs. Now, what you have to do is you have to come back here and you have to understand. This is obviously the guys inside my brand. I just tell them exactly which one they need to make, which is going to give them the highest conversion rate. But based on their identity and their offer and who they are as an individual, like their aura, their persona, their tone, their ICP, like who they're speaking to, I will then tell them which one of these types of VSLs they need to make. And a VSL effectively is a video that's on a landing page just above the application button, which effectively just takes people through a process that gives them clarity and psychologically helps them through that buying process. Okay, this is huge. This is huge. This alone makes me probably $40,000 extra a month just with this VSL. Okay, if not more. Okay, I make my traffic in a way where I could even operate technically without one because I understand the psychology even in the traffic. But lead flow, you need to master a VSL. On top of that, once you've picked your type of VSL that you need to make, you need to go and create that. I right now am running a splitter VSL. I talked about that a second ago. A splitter VSL essentially is because I have a multi-ecosystem of offers. I've got like basically 3 different offers in which I can help people and different tiers within all of that. Instead of me having like 9 links, I have what I call a splitter VSL, and then it sends people off to where they need to go. Like I said, pick your type of VSL, but then it actually takes them to another VSL or to another VSL or to another VSL. And one of those might be a problem solution because it's the best fit for that offer. One of them might be a mechanism. One of them might be an origin story. Sometimes for certain ICPs, for certain offers, I'll even advise clients, some of mine are this, where it's a combination of maybe 2 to 3 types of the VSLs all in one into like a 5 to 17-minute video, again, depending on what it is you're selling, how high ticket, whether you're selling something for $500, whether you're selling something for 5K or 15K or 25K. Okay, you've got to understand what type of VSL you need. And then also what I call 3-step inbound. Okay, so like miscellaneous sales assets effectively. So stuff like email lists, Telegram, other forms of inbound mechanisms like webinars and stuff like that. That's lead flow. That's how you've created content for a specific ICP. They've now seen it. They're now attracted to you. They're now like, this guy can help me. They have then a system that works 24/7 while you sleep. This lead flow asset is working for you, selling whilst you sleep. So I wake up every single morning. People have watched my videos. They've then gone to this page, which is working, which is speaking like it's live 24/7, crafted perfectly to then drive people through and apply to speak with me. And then we have a sales process. This is where most people in the coaching space get wrong. They're jumping on calls, they're wasting time. The only time I advise for one of my offers now, we've actually put in a call, but it's not for a sales purpose. It's actually from a qualifying purpose. On one of my brand tiers, we're now very tight on who we bring in, and we have to make sure people qualify. Because for me, someone wiring me X amount a month or X upfront for 3 months or 6 months or 12 months to join my brand or brand black room or brand custom built, I don't get fulfilled by someone paying me money, but then them not doing anything. I am only fulfilled. I only win when my clients win. I need to make sure that when someone comes into brand, they're going to fucking do it. They want it. They're in it for the long term. They're in it for mastery. They're in it to dominate. So we actually have put a call on in that recently as just a qualifying call. Are we going to bring you in? Because nothing pisses me off more than people joining my brand and potentially not living up to the level, the standard I want them to operate from. I want people who are obsessed, not just people who want to make 2K once, pay for a holiday, and then just get shiny object and go somewhere else. I'm helping people build a brand who are like, I feel called. It's spiritual alignment. It's my calling to get into this coaching space, to give my value back to people, and to fucking go and print some fucking money, because that only means that you've given infinite amounts of value out. Money is value. So that sales process, they come through, and for me, I just have WhatsApp, chat. I just understand like the current position, what their vision is. You know, in some of the programs, like where they're less complex, like my fitness stuff, like that's up to 12.5K, depending on the tier they're working with me and for the duration. That's all done through chat. Okay, that's all done on WhatsApp. And from there, we can get a good gauge on, does this person qualify? Are they good to work with me? Does the result align with something we can help them with? And then from there, we just send them over the chat offer. Okay. So it's like a simple, quick qualifying for like general offers. Like unless you're at seven figures, you would never have a call in a business. Like you don't need that level of qualifying. You can actually, if you get in too many leads, you can increase qualifying and friction in here manually. There is ways you can do that. So sometimes I'll get guys and they come to me and they're like, I have no leads. I have no inbounds. The only sales I've ever made have been from like cold and I've been chasing. It's unpredictable. And they'll come and they'll be like, I'm getting like 10 leads. I'm getting 20 leads every single day. But some of them aren't quite like there's a few that aren't a good fit. And we actually increase friction, okay, in here. Now, once you've got a bigger system, a bigger team behind you, you can, you can add layers of complexity down the line. But making seven figures initially, with especially with one offer, multiple tiers, is very simple. So chat, offer, sale. So people just speak to me on this phone with literally every program I have, and they'll be speaking with me directly. Okay, you don't need to hire people for this. Like people are paying you, they want to work with you, right? You should just have your WhatsApp there ready the whole time. And I see people pop up on my CRM. Like right now, I can already go into my Slack, and you can see I've got application forms waiting while I'm even filming this right now. So I'll then, after I film this, I'll go on WhatsApp, add the contact, shoot them a message, and they'll be like, okay, this is the right offer. Boom. Yeah, I'm in, Tom. Boom. I send them the payment link. They can just Apple Pay it. They're straight in. I onboard them straight away. Boom. Very, very fast and simple. You know, a very interesting thing for me was a month or two ago, I ordered a PS5. And I'm in my villa in Bali. And I reached out to a few companies and I was like, yo, I want a PS5 today. Can you let me know what's the best one? I'll take everything you've got that you recommend to go with it. Bum, 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 bum. Because I was just out for breakfast one morning, daydreaming about when I was a kid and I used to have a PlayStation or whatever. And I was like, I would pay 2K right now to get all the best stuff and just have one game, right? And I messaged like 5, 6 companies, and one of them got back to me very fast. Within an hour, they delivered it to my house, right? That is why we also sell in the chat. The fastest man wins, those who move with speed. You know, it's no different with anything. Speed is a law of success. You have to be the fastest back to your customer. Booking someone in for a call tomorrow, they've already gone to someone else. Everything has to be chat-based, but the sale has already been done psychologically in the lead flow and the traffic. Okay, you're not selling in the sales process. You're just onboarding them. Okay, the sale has been done here and the sale has been done there as well because of the intention and the consciousness within the content. All of the 10 buying beliefs that have to be installed into an audience in order for them to have an aligned mindset with buying, which is effectively an action mindset for the result you can help them provide, has been done. Then this is very, very simple. They've already sold themselves. They've already made the best decision. They've understood that. Them staying in the same position is the only failure right now when they know they're meant for more. Yes, it may be difficult going forward and they have to get a fucking reality check and they have to upgrade the standards and they have to work harder, or if it's in the gym, they have to train harder, or they have to cut out some certain people, or if it's with their business, they have to level up the standards and take on more accountability. But they know that that's still the path. That's still the easiest path, is the one going after mastery, going after the potential. The sale has already been done. Now, once they're in, you then have delivery. So this for me is where I effectively actually get one, client's elite results. You need to understand, how can I get elite results? Now, I'm obsessed with elite results. I hands down know that every single offer I have, I wouldn't have it if it weren't. Every single offer I have will get my audience results way better and way faster and way more aligned than anyone else in the space. You have to be obsessed with mastery, not just in the marketing and sales, but also inside the delivery. Now, some people do obsess over the delivery and the obsession with it, which is good, but you also have to be obsessed with everything prior if you actually want to give them value and get them inside. So you need to be obsessed with elite results. Now, what everyone needs is one scalable form of getting elite results and one price. Scalable by volume, one scalable by price. What do I mean by that? One may be more in a coaching format, one may be more in a group format, one may be more of a mastermind format, and then one may be working on the same thing. Let's use the fitness coach analogy. They want to work with you and get in great shape. One of them, they may just get a quick check-in feedback. They still get all the custom program, but it doesn't take long to build. And then they can come on a group call, ask questions on mindset, on fitness, and it's very easy. Whereas you may have an offer which is to help people with the same transformation, but maybe for slightly higher level guys, and they want to pay for an hour call with you every week because they want to go even deeper. It's the same thing, but one is scalable by price. You might be able to charge 5K, 10K, 15K for it. This one, you can put in 100 people today and the system won't break. The error is that most people, and what I used to have when I couldn't get beyond 40K a month, was I used to just have an offer which built me a prison. I couldn't scale it by price. It wasn't valuable enough. And I couldn't scale it by volume because it would break. And I would just have this like pain resistance of how far I would go with how much fulfillment I had. And I didn't want to hire loads of people. I knew people wanted to work with me. Everyone who comes in my brand works with me because I built it where it gets elite level results in all my offers on a scalable level. Maybe this is courses, it's group, it's very systemized coaching, which is just predictable, like through a mechanism. And then you've got one which is more consulting based. Okay, very nice and easy. And then finally, once we're getting these elite results, we can start scaling a little bit internally and externally. Now, what do I mean by that? Ascension and scale. So we have internal scale, external scale. So once you are so potent, let's start external. Once you are so potent, then what you do is you can start adding content volume. You can start adding offers. You can have price increase. You may hire team members. Okay, media team, for example, stuff like that. This is going to come, adding content volume should come around 30K a month. Adding offers, in terms of ecosystem offers, you can have different tiers from the beginning, but ecosystem offers, I would say at least 75K a month. Price increase can come very early on. So this is ways you can externally scale. Now, internal scale is if you've got a client, right, and your initial offer was you help them from here to here. Well, if you want to increase how much you help that person, and you want to earn more income, because if you're giving them more value, you're like, I've helped them get to there, and they paid me 1 unit of money. Now, you've helped them get there. Amazing. You've delivered. But imagine if you didn't even have to sell to a new client outside your business. Imagine if you could just help them get there and there once they're in. And then they may pay you 3 units to get to that one and 9 units to get to that one. And you've already acquired the customer from here, from marketing and sales. Now, how much easier would that be? If every client that came in initially came in for 1 unit of energy, you impressed them so much that you then could go on and take them to new units of energy, completely transform their life. Now, I've had clients come to me who have come in just initially because they're like, Tom, I just feel so down. I need to get my daily process nailed in. I need to just get confident, higher frequency. They've come in, then got in elite shape. Then what happened when they got in elite shape was like their standards raised. Basically, what you're going to understand is one problem solved is another problem created. For example, if someone gets in great shape, they've solved that problem. But now a new problem maybe they have this huge purpose, they have this huge clarity and desire on a career and a business they want to go and fulfill because they've actually been able to tap into such a higher performing, higher frequency version of themselves. Now they want to build a business, but they don't know how. Before, they didn't even think about building a specific type of business because they didn't have that clarity, they didn't have the process. So I effectively scale my brand, not just externally here and doing more marketing, more sales. I do that, yes, but I also do a lot of this. I focus on how much value can I give to a customer. Not just thinking about how long can I hold a customer for, which comes from fear. I think about how much can I give to a customer out of love by giving them more and then more and then more. And it effectively also comes in a form where they all pay for themselves. Because if someone comes in and gives me 1 unit of money, but they become then a new level of individual, they're going to be earning more money because of their competence level. So now they can pay for this one, and then now they can pay for this one, but they're always getting 100x return. They're always winning, not me, but I win because I can have hundreds and thousands of people inside my coaching and consulting offers. That is how I go on and actually make 7 figures. Those steps. Like I said, guys, it all starts with you getting clear on who you are. Keep it very, very simple. Keep everything very direct response. Don't overcomplicate anything. But you've got to understand that right now you've got this mixing bowl of all this shit here, right? You want to make the perfect lasagna. You've already got the ingredients. What you have to know right now is everything is already inside of you. You've got the ingredients, you've got the identity, you've got the transformation, you've got the value. Now, you're just one recipe away from having a fucking Michelin grade meal. I don't know if you can get a Michelin grade lasagna, but you know exactly what I'm saying. You are the lasagna. You would be an idiot not to play a recipe to actually turn it into something special. It can actually be an asset for your partner, for your family. It can give you the autonomy you want, the control you want in life. That's what you've got to do, guys. Once I mastered this at a very high level, I crushed it. It's impossible. I wake up and I don't even need to read and focus on the recipe because I just know it so intrinsically. That is why then when I started another offer, again from zero, I could scale that to multi 6 figures within weeks. Because I already know the recipe of how these businesses work. You're just a recipe away. You're not the value away. You got to master the marketing and sales side, how to actually build the business. All right, let's get it. Let's go. Hope you found that valuable. If you want help building your business, selling your value online through coaching, consulting, courses, giving stuff back online through programs, there's a link below. You can go check that out. There will be a quick questionnaire in there. It'll take you like 20 seconds. You can run through there. It'll basically move you to the next page. Like I said in this video, me running you through how my business works, there is a splitter, and then it'll take you to the best place, and then you can just chat with me one-on-one. We'll understand where you are, if you qualify, if I can be of help to you. Either way, you're going to have a strategy moving forwards on what you actually need to do. If you can work with us, amazing. I'll show you how that works, and we can take you to that level. If not, I'll point you in the right direction, maybe to another YouTube video or to another resource for free that's going to help you get to that point in where you qualify. Qualifying is nothing to do with the level you're at. I help people start from an idea or scale. It's more about the vision. It's more about the commitment that we're looking for. Let's get it. Let's go.